Can anybody tell me what happened on Tuesday this week? There was a special holiday. It was part of your school holidays, Maxine.
Anzac Day.
Anzac Day, that's right. And what does Anzac Day actually mean? Does anyone know?
We remember those who died and those who came back from war.
Yeah, thank you, Faith. That's exactly what it's about. So my story this morning is a story about Australia in the Second World War. Australia did have action in the Second World War, but it was really mainly around the top of Australia. And the story this morning comes from Broome. Broome has beautiful sunsets and beautiful sunrises. And here's a map. Broome is in that little red box right up the top, so it's a long way from here. On the morning of March 15, 1942, a gentleman named Charlie de Toyne was sitting out in Roebuck Bay refuelling small aeroplanes. Now, 15 seaplanes had flown from Indonesia carrying women and children who were trying to escape the invading Japanese. And so they'd come on these small planes and they were sitting in Roebuck Bay, and Charlie, along with other people, were refueling them before they went on to Perth. Charlie was kneeling on the wing of the plane, helping with the refueling, and he heard a zzz, and then it got really loud, and he looked up and he could not believe what he saw. There were 9 small Japanese planes in formation heading for Roebuck Bay. A lot of people heard the sound and stopped what they were doing, jumped off the little planes and started swimming for shore. Charlie had 2 men helping him, and they jumped back in the dinghy and took off, leaving Charlie out there. Now, the Japanese aviators expected there wouldn't be many planes at all in Broome on that morning, so they hadn't put any bombs in their aircraft, but they did have machine guns. And so as they got closer, they started what we call strafing all these little planes, which were full of women and children. And 86 people died that day from the men who were using the machine guns. But Charlie decided he'd better just jump in the water and try and swim or get away or find shelter. He was about to jump, and he looked across, and from another aeroplane, he saw a young mother holding a baby jump into the water. But they didn't come back up, and when they did, the mother's arms were flailing, and she was trying to keep the baby out of the water. Charlie realised that she couldn't swim, and he was a strong swimmer, and he was a really powerful man. So he jumped in, and he swam over, and he supported the mother and he supported the baby, and they tried to get under some of the aircraft that was sinking. And what had happened, all of the aircraft fuel had spread across the water, and a lot of the water was on fire as well. It was a really frightening situation. But Charlie stayed with them and saved them. And it was too dangerous to swim for the shore because of the water being on fire. So they just stayed out, got some shelter under a wing, and then eventually the Japanese planes went away, and a pearling lugger came out and picked them up and took them back to shore. Charlie was treated like a hero, and he was just a really, there's the notification that was in the paper, and there he is many years later. And when he was interviewed, he said, no, I'm not a hero. I'm a strong swimmer, and I'm a strong man, and there was no one else there at the time. So he said, I had to step up and save that woman's life. In fact, he said, I was more afraid of the sharks getting me than the Japanese bullets. And sometimes in life, you might be the person that has to step up. You might be the only person around to do something brave and strong. And I hope that you have the courage to do what Charlie did. Thank you for coming for the story.